Hey guys, it's Slats, and welcome back to another episode of Ask Slats, where you guys submit me questions or topics and I talk about them here on the channel. So for today's topic, one of you guys sent me this. Everything I've ever dreamed of never came true, and I was forced by my parents to opt for studies, just helicopter parenting, and things I don't want to do. I really wanted to study abroad, but was not allowed to by my parents. I don't know what to do now. I am unemployed and depressed, and now I don't even want to try, and procrastinate for full days, and what should I even do now? My physical and mental health are both non existent. Everything in future seems blurry. My dreams of going foreign and working with awesome people will never come true, even if I fail or whatever. Just I want a chance, even if I fail but see nothing ahead. I'm now way behind of other people my age. I'm 22 and I don't know what I am even doing now, so your advice will really mean a lot for me. First off, I just want to thank you for submitting this, and this is a pretty tricky situation. I definitely heard similar sources for the way I'm interpreting it. I'm sorry if I don't interpret this right, but from what I'm getting here is you want to do one thing with your life and your parents want you to do something else. And especially with school, that is very complicated. I know your parents kind of have these expectations for you. They want you to go a certain path. I think the most popular things are your parents want you to be, getting a high paying job, right? They want you to be a doctor. They want you to be a lawyer. But maybe you want to do something else. Maybe you want to go into computer science. Maybe you want to go into journalism. Maybe you want to go into film. Whatever it is, it's definitely a complicated subject and a difficult thing to go about. I think it especially gets complicated when your parents are paying for your tuition because they're paying for your education, right? So I definitely had that feeling in my head when I was in college where it was like, okay, I don't want to let my parents down. I don't want them to feel like they wasted their money these 4 years. And I was especially feeling that when I wasn't getting, any jobs or internships, throughout college and then shortly after. But in terms of the major, I think if you talk to your parents and explain what you want to do with your life in terms of a career, I think and I would hope, I mean, I really don't know if there's a certain answer to this, but I think if you really explain it and say, this is what I want to do with my life, I think they would understand. Because I think at the end of the day, your parents really do want you to be happy. And I think even though they may be saying, like, oh, I want you to do this, they're really doing it to look out for you. They want you to have the best life possible. And maybe if you just try to explain that this way, this, field of study that I want to do will allow me to kind of live the best life that I want to live, I think it's hard to kind of not see that. So that would be my advice for a career. You also mentioned how you wanted to study abroad, and you also talk about later in this how you want to go foreign, I guess. I'm assuming that also means you want to go to another country. Although you may not have been able to do it in college, you're 22 years old. Your life is just beginning. You have the rest of your life to be able to do that. It may not be as simple or organized as if you were to study abroad in college because, you go to classes, you have all that structure. But if you really want to do it and you say that's your dream, I think it's possible to do. And again, as you get older, you're not going to have to rely on your parents as much. Once you start earning your own money, once you start, living on your own, they can't tell you what to do. So I think that's definitely an option for you and something you could definitely look into. I'm not entirely sure, where you want to go and the whole like logistics of all that breakdown, but I just want you to know that that's still definitely a possibility that you could do in the future. There's so many stories of people moving to a different country and finding a job there and working there and even maybe even moving there, and it's like it's not an impossible thing. So if you really want to do it, you could definitely do it. So how you could work to achieve that is I think definitely change your mindset. I think you're talking here about how you're depressed, your physical and mental health aren't doing too well, procrastinating a lot. I could definitely relate to that, and I think it's just, especially at our age where it's like you can't really tell what the future is going to be, right? I don't know what the future is. A lot of my friends, all in the similar age group don't really know what our future is. We're all just kind of figuring out and just trying to see what works. So I don't really think there's a clear future for anyone. I mean, if you would have told me 5 years ago I would have been in the position that I am today, I don't really think I could have seen that, 5 years ago. But I think to start, you say you're unemployed. I think even if you just pick up a part time job or a job that maybe isn't even the career you want to do, just something to kind of keep you busy, I definitely recommend doing that because I think, at least for me, I know when I have something to do, maybe it's every day, maybe it's every couple days, whatever it is, if I have something to do, I'm a lot more just better. I feel like I'm being a little more productive with my life. And I think in turn, it'll help a little bit with your mental health. I think just slowly trying to figure out what do you want to do with your life, ignoring the people around you. I know it's hard when, especially parents, when they're like talking to you and saying, this is what you got to do, this is what you got to do. At the end of the day, it's your life. You make the decisions that you want to make. And if you really want to do it, you may have to work a little harder than some other people. That's unfortunately the truth about it. But if you really want to do it, it definitely is possible. Physical health, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and act like I am the most active person in the world. I mean, I kind of do the bare minimum. I'll go for walks, I'll ride my bike. If the weather's nice and it's like summer, I'll go swimming and stuff like that. But even just doing it a little bit, again, just makes me feel better. And it does help just a little bit. And I think the final thing where procrastinating, I suffer from this so badly. I mean, throughout my whole life, in school, I think it was the most obvious with like homework assignments and essays and projects and all that. But even today, even recording videos, as much as I love doing them, sometimes it kind of gets me a little longer to get to, sit down at my computer and hit record. But I think the mindset that has kind of helped me a little bit, try to, get myself rolling is starting is the most difficult part of it. The very beginning of everything that I've ever procrastinated in my life, or every really assignment that I've done, has been the most difficult. I've been dreading writing an essay. As soon as I sit down and start writing the essay, it's like, okay, this is pretty easy. Like, I could keep going with it. It's just that initial hurdle you have to get over of like, oh my God, I don't want to do this. One thing I recommend doing is setting like a 20-minute rule where you'll be like, okay, I don't want to do this, but I know I have to, so I'm going to do it for 20 minutes. And I feel like most time after that 20 minutes, you'll be like, well, I already started, so might as well keep going. And if that doesn't work for you, I think literally setting a like hard limit on that where it's like, okay, after the end of those 20 minutes, I'm done. It's better than if you were to not start it at all. And then you would obviously just continue that, whether it's throughout the week, throughout the day, whatever it is. I don't know when you kind of need to get stuff done, but I hope you understand what I'm saying. And then the final thing you mention here is how you feel like you're behind from everyone else in your life. And I've made a whole video about feeling behind in your 20s. I'll leave it up in the corner if you want to check it out. But basically, I don't believe that anyone is ever behind in their life. Sure, some people may be ahead in certain aspects of their life, like a career or, physical health and stuff like that. But I think that person is also behind in life in another way. No one in life is ahead of everyone. Everyone has something that they could always improve on, something that they could achieve, something that someone else has. And I think because of that, you are never truly behind in life. And you're also 22 years old. Your life literally has just started. Your adult life has just started. There's no way you could be far behind. So yeah, I think that about covers everything in this question. Again, I'm sorry if I didn't really answer it the way you wanted me to. I'm a little confused at some of the wording, but I hope you got something out of it. And it sounds like a pretty tricky situation, but I hope that you're able to get through it, and I hope you're able to figure out and do what you want to do in your life. So that's going to do it for this video. I hope you guys did enjoy. If you do have any questions or topics that you want me to talk about, feel free to submit it in the Google form link down below. If you did enjoy, please consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.